Hi everyone, this is the first video of a small series of videos where I break the portrait up into smaller bits, and as you probably can tell, this is a video where I draw eyes. Most people, I think, would start off by sketching out the eyes, both eyes at the same time, to sort of determine distance between eyes, size, placement of the face, etc. But I thought it'd be fun to show you how I do it, which is, well, it varies, but sometimes I do this where I just draw an entire eye with all the details and then move on to the other eye. Please excuse the shaking of the camera. I'm very new to this. I need better equipment. But in order to get better equipment, I need to make a little more money. So I'm saving up for better equipment, okay? Just please bear with me. Also, remember that this is my really, really bad and very affordable mechanical pencil. There's nothing fancy about it. Also, the paper isn't the best quality. So this is just to give you an idea of what I'm working with here. So I start off by a rough sketch, to sort of place the pupil and everything around it, the roundness of the eye, the surroundings. And then I start building up shading. I use the reference photo to sort of depict how hard or how dark the shading is. And I always say, I try and map out the face. That's really what I'm doing as I draw. I try and put everything into perspective and make out the distances, the small distances and the small shapes. Everything can be made up of circles and triangles and rectangles and, whatever. And that's a really good thing to remember when you draw anything, really. By the way, please know that you're always welcome to ask questions in the comment sections or, suggest something that I should draw or someone I should draw. Just please let me know if you have any ideas or questions. I'm always here to help. And here I switched from mechanical pencil to colored pencil. This one is from Polychromos, and it's just plain black. And the reason why I choose this pencil is because I could have just chosen a soft pencil, for instance, 12B. But most graphite, not all kinds of graphite, because they've made it, and they're making different kinds of graphite these days, but the traditional kind of graphite, even though you can get them really soft and dark, they often leave like a shine on the paper, because that's just how graphite is, most graphite is. But with colored pencil and also these new graphite pencils, you get a much more matte finish. So the light doesn't catch, and it's really that's really a good thing when you're making videos, because I don't want it to reflect the light. So, and also with this dark pencil, you can create extremely nice contrast, especially in a reference photo that I'm using, which is very contrasted with a lot of dark and a lot of hard light. I am sure this photo was taken with a flash. So yeah, there's a hard light, and if you noticed, I placed the highlight in the eye, and there's also a highlight on top of the eyelid, or like in the center of the eyelid. And if you think about it three-dimensionally, that's where the eye bulges out. So that's where the light would catch naturally. Does that make sense? I hope so. Yeah, I'm just building and building the shade, and also there's this wet part in the eye that I just mark with a white dot. At this point, it's really about enhancing, increasing the amount of contrast and keeping the light, so you don't go over all of it with the dark, especially because this colored pencil is harder to erase. It's much harder than traditional graphite. So it's really about keeping the light. You can erase some, but it's much better if you just try and work around it and build up light and darkness. It's a dance between light and dark. That's just how it is. Yeah, and constantly I'm building and building, going back and forth, really. And also, drawing an eye is not just drawing an eye, it's also the surroundings of the eye, the bridge of the nose, beginning the bridge of the nose, and the lower eyelid, which creates this, in this instance, in this case, a lot of shading. And again, keep the highlight in the middle where the eye sort of bulges out, so to speak. And yeah, just work on those contrasts all the time. Okay, so now I sharpened my pencil. I cannot stress enough how important that is when you're doing these tiny details of these, really, really small hairs, stubble almost, that are here at the beginning of the brow. And this is a very dark brow because of the contrast of the photo. But again, I keep building and building. And here I'm actually using a fine liner pen from it's a Micron. I'm using a Micron and a Unipin, also the black liner. It's really good for those finishing details of, for instance, yes, the lashes. And right here you might think, oh, that's way too intense on the lower lid, but in a minute I will bring back the pencil and enhance the shadows. So I'm just building and building and building. Look, now I think, okay, I can tell from the reference photo that I don't have enough contrast. I don't have enough shadow. So I just go back in and I've rebuilt, put on more shadow. It's a constant dance, which is what I love about drawing. You can keep going till eventually you just know, okay, now I'm done. And I don't know, I don't know how to explain it. It's just something now I'm finished, or wait, it needs a little bit more. Sometimes you need to take a step back before you can tell. And now I go in with this precision tool, which is an eraser from Tombow. And again, I rebuilt with my pencil. Rebuild is a weird word to use, but just trying to make those tiny, tiny wrinkles on the upper lip. Again, not upper lip, upper lid, sorry. I will do mouths as well, don't worry. But this is the first video on eyes, and next up is, of course, nose, because that's what I would naturally draw after eyes. Again, building and building on these shadows, and yeah, also trying to enhance this illusion of the eye being three-dimensional. This next part is a bit more rushed because you've already seen me draw one eye, and I'm just pairing it up. But don't make the mistake of just mirroring the other eye, because if you really look at someone, for example, when you draw them, you'll see that no two eyes are the same. Even in the most like perfect faces, the left and the right eye is never the same. They're not a mirror. They're not a perfect mirror of each other. So there are these tiny differences. It can be like in the brow, the arch of the brow, or the upper lid is heavier on one side, or whatever it can be. But it's just it's really important to keep the differences, because that's where a lot of the personality is, I guess, in someone's eyes. Once again, I map out a sketch of the other eye and sort of, keep going back and forth. Like I said, I've sped this up a lot just to, not make it so boring. And I've edited this a little bit more. See, now I'm going in with the black pencil again, the black colored pencil. It's from Polychromos. Please know I'm not sponsored by anyone. Hopefully I will one day. That would be sweet. But for the moment, for the time being, I am not sponsored by any art supply company. And this time I wanted to use the fine liner a bit more. So I decided to do the lashes with that one. Yeah, it's really simple. And also remember that the lashes on the upper lid sort of cast a shadow on the iris of the eye. And even in someone with these very, very dark brown, almost black eyes, it's important to sort of show that there's a darker area on the upper third of the iris, because it just brings in more light. So if you made it completely flat black, you wouldn't have that sort of light or life in the eyes. So anyway, that's it. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching.